Hiya, my name is Miranda and I'm a careers advisor. I'm based in Brighton in England, and I run a careers guidance company called Elevate Careers, and I work in lots of local schools, so you may have seen me around. Hello. This is the first in a series of vlogs mostly aimed at Year 11 students making decisions about what they're going to do after they leave school, but it may well apply to you if you're in Year 10 and thinking ahead, which is great, well done, and also sixth formers who may be thinking about doing something different. So, this is the first one. Let's think about where you can study. So this is aimed at those of you starting from scratch, thinking, where can I go next year? What can I do? So you might have heard the expression post-16. You think, what's that all about? Post basically means after. It's Latin. So it's after you're 16. After traditionally you might leave school. Up to recently, those were the laws were that you could leave school at 16. Now you have to stay on either in school or some other form of education or employment with training. So the rules have changed slightly, but people still refer to post-16 as you making your choices about what you're going to do after you leave school. So these are the kind of things that you can do. You might want to go to an FE college, so that means further education. FE colleges are generally quite large because they have people studying ages between 16 and 19, but also they might have some adult education classes or some higher education classes. So there might be a big range of people studying all in the same place or in a few different campuses. Then you have sixth forms that are specifically catered for people aged between 16 and 19, so everyone's going to be doing A-levels, BTECs, courses that are sort of aimed at that sort of age range. Then you have sixth forms which are in schools or in academies or in free schools, so they're usually attached to a school. You might have one at the school you're at now, great, that's somewhere you can maybe look at first of all to see what they offer. You also have specialist provision, so for those of you who may be interested in a particular type of learning or a particular type of course, for example, you might have some music, specialist music or digital media college. I'm going to talk about what's on offer locally to you later. This is just to give you a bit of a broad overview. And then lastly, there's something called a technical college. There's one going to be opening in East Sussex shortly in September 2015. So that's another option for those of you interested in particular areas such as technology. What you can study, I'm actually going to do a whole other vlog on choosing courses, but obviously the two go hand in hand because some colleges will offer the same sorts of courses, but some offer specialist courses, or you can only do it in one particular college. So if you have ideas in your head about what kind of things you want to study, you might need to check where you can study them. But if you're maybe completely unsure, it's all a bit new to you, then it's worth looking at all the different colleges local to you to see what the range is, because what you'll find is it's going to be much broader than what you've studied so far at school. Something else to keep in mind when you're making your choice about where to study is, depending on the type of college, they may or may not offer different types of courses. So some colleges are going to mostly offer vocational courses, and that means courses that are related directly to types of work. So it might be that you end up with something like an NVQ, National Vocational Qualification, which is specific to a type of work. So in theory, after you've completed that qualification, you could go and get a job in that type of area. So you might, for example, go and do a hairdressing qualification. You wouldn't get an A-level, for example, in hairdressing, or a BTEC in hairdressing. You would get an NVQ in hairdressing. Equally, some colleges focus more on A-levels, which are generally more academic subjects, and then there's also BTECs, which are almost somewhere between the two because they're coursework, generally more coursework based, and you can get them where they're more related to a type of job. For example, you could do a BTEC in travel and tourism, so that would give you an understanding of the travel and tourism industry. but you would be studying it fairly academically, unlike doing an NVQ in the subject. So A-levels, subjects like what you've already studied at school, such as English, sciences, languages, arts, humanities, and then some other subjects as well. BTEC's more focused on sort of work areas, and then you have things like NVQs, which are specific to types of work. And generally you can't combine an NVQ with A-levels and BTECs, but you can sometimes combine A-levels and BTECs. I'm going to do a vlog separately on qualifications because it can get quite confusing, so stay tuned in for that later on. So it's really important to look at what's available in the local area. Don't just get fixed on one thing. So that takes us to research, which is really the most important thing you need to be doing. Hopefully some of you already know a few local colleges, maybe brother or sister or cousin or friends in the year above have already gone and started studying somewhere. That's really useful. Speak to them, find out what their experiences have been. Don't just base your entire perception of a college on that one person there, because maybe they had a really bad time, or they had a really good time, or they had a time. You need to get more input than just one person, but it's not bad idea starting off by talking to people you know. But don't just end there. A lot of people I speak to is like, oh yeah, my brother went there, so I'm going to go there. That might perfectly be the right place for you, but you need to make sure you're making an informed decision, and that means finding out as much of the information as possible. So do a bit of, I call bum research, sitting on your bum in front of a computer. I'm going to give you some of the colleges that are going to be local to you later, but simply you can type in Brighton Sixth Form College, for example, and you get pretty much a list of where you can study locally. Look at their prospectuses. That's the magazine which tells you all about what you can study. So you can usually get one from your school. Hopefully you've got a careers room, or there should be some in the library, or your head of year, or whoever's responsible for careers related and post-16 study at your school. If you're not sure who that is, then go to the websites, because all the information is generally on there as well. And you can see all the different courses they offer. Start by just looking through the courses. That's going to help you identify, actually this kind of college doesn't really do the kind of things I'm interested in. Fine, move on. So that's the first stage. The second thing is you really need to actually go along. A lot of students I talk to, they say, yeah, I'm going to go here. Have you gone? Have you visited? Nope. You're going to spend 2 to 3 years at the place. You kind of want to make sure it's somewhere you're going to feel comfortable, that you feel happy. So you really need to go and visit. All colleges have open evenings. They usually start in the autumn term, but they sometimes go on into spring as well. But obviously, if it's a very popular college, you want to get in there early. So make sure you find out dates. In the schools that I work in, we put a list of college open evenings and taster days, usually on the head of year office or in the careers room. So check that, but also all the websites will tell you as well. So you need to go along to at least an open evening, ideally a taster day if you can, so you get to actually try out some lessons. That's what a taster day means. And what you're thinking about when you're making the decision about which place to study, which for some of you might be quite simple. If you've got a very specialist interest, then there may be only one place that's really going to do the courses you want to do. But if maybe you have sort of quite popular A-level choices that you're going to make, so maybe English A-level alongside, I don't know, psychology and business studies, let's say, a lot of colleges might offer that as a combination. So you really need to be thinking about other things other than what it is you're going to study. And some of those things are location. That's pretty important. If it's absolutely miles away, are you really going to get up in the morning and get there every day? If it's the only place you can study, then you're going to just have to bite it and do it. But if there's a choice, it might make more sense to go more locally to you. So where it is, how easy is it for you to get to? Do the journey. See if you can stomach it every day. Class sizes. Are you someone that it needs quite a lot of attention, needs maybe a small class? great. If it's a small class kind of place, that works well, but maybe you're someone who prefers a larger group where there's much more interaction and different people to work with, and you can work independently pretty well. Then maybe a bigger sixth form would work for you. So make sure that it kind of tailors to the sort of style of learning that you enjoy. What facilities have they got? If you're doing sports courses, what kind of, do they have a swimming pool, for example? Okay, not many places do, but they at least hopefully will have access to green spaces or indoor sports facilities. Whatever it is that you need, or music or art, you need to go and look at actually what they've got to offer you. Friends. Some of you might say, I don't want to go where I know anyone, or you might say, I want to go where I know everyone. Again, it's up to you what feels better for you, but do be conscious of not just thinking, I'm going to go there because everyone I know is going there and I'll have loads of fun. That's possibly a reason to consider, but it's not the main reason. You need to be studying what you're interested in, because this is where you get to choose. It's no longer schools sort of saying, oh, you have to choose within this selection. It's you making the choice for your future. And your friends will be there, but not necessarily forever. And you don't want to be thinking, why was I doing that? Just because, Stephanie was doing it. You need to really be thinking about what's right for you. So, likewise with teachers, if you are staying at the same school to go to their sixth form, don't just pick a subject because you love the teacher, or don't not pick a subject because you hate the teacher, because quite likely it might be a completely different teacher, and then you may have scuppered your chances for continuing with that subject in the future. So try and think about things independently to the teacher who might be studying it. Equally, if you're going somewhere different, try and meet the teacher that's going to be taking the subject beforehand and see if you have a rapport. Especially if you're deciding between a few different subjects, it may be that particular teacher will really inspire you, and that's maybe where you need to be thinking about putting your interests and your choice. What else do I want you to think about? Yeah, think about the range of courses on offer. So it might be that you want to combine a quite unusual combination of A-levels, or want to do some A-levels and some B-Techs. Different colleges will allow different things, so you need to make sure that they will be happy to offer what you would like, what would be the best combination for you. Also, a little bit alongside with a kind of location, size of the campus and provision. Again, you might be someone who works better in a smaller place or a larger place. How big is it? How many classrooms are there? How long does it take you to walk from one side to the other of the campus? These are all things that might be of importance to you, and maybe all of these aren't of equal importance, but you need to figure out which ones actually will make the difference for you over those couple of years. The last thing you want to think about is, what's the experience of being at that particular college like? And that's a really good thing you can try and find out from students who are already studying there. So when you go to open evenings, for example, ask the students. They usually have at least some current students available for you to chat to. Do they feel that they are given enough responsibility? Are they kind of given lots of independent time, or are they sort of looked after very well by teachers? You might be someone who really likes to be kind of left alone to get on with their work. Is that what the school's like, or do they kind of harass you a little bit and kind of chase you up, which maybe is what you need as well? For some people, they need a teacher to be saying, have you done that? Have you got your coursework done? Whereas others kind of like the hands-off approach. So you need to feel, is this the kind of environment I want to be in? Some places still want you to come in at 8:30 in the morning for registration, whereas others have a bit more flexibility about when you study. So some courses as well, for example, are only 3 days a week, whereas others you need to be there every day. So there's lots of different sort of things to think about in terms of what would be the ideal kind of learning environment for you. So in summary, before I just show you the list of local providers to you, make sure you've thought about what's important to you. Make sure you've really researched where is possible for you to study, and don't just go for the first thing because that seems the easiest thing. And if you're struggling to make a decision, I often putting it all down on paper can help, doing like a positives and negatives and thinking about what's the most important thing for you. In the next vlog, which I'm going to do, you're going to watch hopefully next, we'll talk about choosing between courses, and I'll show you how to do a positive and negative weighing up chart. Hopefully this has been helpful. See you later, guys. Here's an activity you can do to help make up your mind about where to study, which you can do obviously in your own time or with during tutor time or PSHE or any other time when you're with other people or on your own. So grab a computer or your phone or a tablet, whatever. I want you to spend an hour or as much of up to an hour or even over if you want to, looking at least 3 different colleges' websites. So don't just kind of look at the front page, look at the courses available on at least 3 different colleges and make a list of any courses that catch your eye, title of the course, and also what the entry requirements are, because you need to know whether or not you're going to probably be achieving the right kind of GCSE grades to be getting onto that course. And that's something we'll talk about in another vlog. But that will help you start to focus down and make sure that you're actually getting a bit of an informed decision. So you're comparing and contrasting different courses in 3 different colleges or providers in your local area. That will tell yourself, your friends, your family, your teachers that you've actually put some effort into making a decision that's going to be right for you.